Alright, welcome to our second instalment of Warhammer 40,000 Apocalypse. So we've set up a nice 10-foot table here, and it's a ruined Imperial Guard city. It's seen many a battle. So there's the ruins. It's been bombed out. It's been abandoned for a few years. The vegetation started to grow. There's the main high street running up the middle there, and then coming down. Plenty of features on this terrain. Some pieces that we haven't used before in our games. Very large ruin here. 3 stories high, this central part. And coming to the edge of the city, the perimeter fence, and then an outpost just on the very edge. So there's been Imperial Guard presence. There's a fire base here. You can see the abandoned weapons just on the top. Imperial Guard have had to fall back from this position here. They've come back inside the main perimeter fence. There's been a hasty barricade made just at the entrance there with a barbed wire, and then weapons have been abandoned inside the crater. They're falling back because Eldar have been pushing in to this sector. Some hastily prepared Imperial Guard defences there, some tank traps. There's more coming up here, just blocking off roads and streets, trying to defend the city as the Eldar encroach in. That's the scenario that we're playing. The Eldar have breached the outer defences, and the Imperial Guard are trying to push them back. So it'll be a clash right in the heart of the city here, as the Eldar seek to move in, and the Guard seek to hold ground. So both sides are going to be going for objectives. So both sides will be trying to push forwards and defend at the same time. So it promises to be a real mix-up of a game. And a challenge for the Imperial Guard. There's a lot of windy streets and obstacles there for Imperial Guard tanks. Coming around, there's more defences here. Second line of defence, there's an old bastion overlooking the outside perimeter with sandbags and more defences. So there's good defensive potential here for the Guard. So that's the terrain. It's a good, nice board. Just a few extra bits that we've done. We've added some stones and battlefield debris just to merge all the terrain in. So it's quite a nice looking board to fight on. Relishing this one, be nice to see the army set up. So Imperial Guard they haven't lost an Apocalypse game so far. It's one of the theories that I have, that some armies perform a lot better in Apocalypse games, and I think Guard are one of those armies that usually do very well. James has won the previous game pretty convincingly against the Tyranids, so it'd be interesting to see how I do against the Eldar. Eldar sort of not as tough, but some deadly firepower and good in combat, so we'll see if the Imperial Guard firepower can overwhelm the Eldar in this game. It's going to be a challenge for both sides. Right, this is my Emperor's Fist tank company. I have a command vehicle which is equipped with a dozer blade and sponson heavy bolters. My first squadron
all armed with demolisher cannons. One is equipped with Sponson multi-melters, the other is equipped with Sponson plasma cannons, and the other is equipped with Sponson heavy bolters, all armed with dozer blades and hole-mounted las cannons. I have regular Lehman Russes with dozer blades, hole-mounted las cannons, and Sponson heavy bolters, and exactly the same except no dozer blades with the 3rd Squadron.
Okay, people want to know if you got some super heavies.
Indeed, I have. I have this time, instead of the Bane blade, as it's more close quarter fighting, I decided to go for the Hellhammer variant of the Bane blade tank. It's armed with the Hellhammer cannon, which is strength 10, AP 1, massive blast, ignores cover saves, and it's a primary weapon as well, so roll 2d6 on the armor penetration. I've got this time, instead of the Stormlord, I have the Shadow Sword, which is armed with the Volcano Cannon, which is a D weapon.
Very nice looking. And then something a bit different?
Yes, I decided to go for the Macarius Vanquisher, which is armed with the twin-linked Vanquisher cannon, and furthermore it can use submunition against infantry, which is, the stats are the same as the Lehman Russ, except it's a massive blast instead of the large blast.
Cool.
I have my fast attack units. I have 3 Hellhounds, each equipped with dozer blade. The squadron leader is equipped with a hole-mounted heavy flamer, whereas the others have got hole-mounted heavy bolters. And Luke really wanted me to have this vehicle, so I was forced to in a way. Decided to go for the tank destroyer. In case you don't know the rules for the tank destroyer, it's armed with the laser destroyer, which is range 60, strength 9, AP 2, ordnance, heavy 1, and that's 160 points. Right, my infantry support for my vehicles, I have my HQ choice, which is a company commander equipped with a bolt pistol and close combat weapon. I have a Voxcaster, heavy flamer and 2 melter guns, and dedicated transport is the Chimera with the dozer blade and hole-mounted heavy flamer. I have, this time, to make something a little different in the game, decided to use 5 Ratlings and 4 Ogrins, and the leader is a Bonehead, the extra 10 points.
You got big and small?
Big and small, yeah. I have 2 platoons. The platoon commander is equipped with just close combat weapon, las pistol, Voxcaster, flamer and auto cannon, and per squad is equipped with Voxcaster and grenade launcher, and the second platoon is exactly the same equipment, and the platoon commander has a dedicated transport, which is the Chimeras.
Where's your flags?
I haven't paid the points for flags,
Oh,
so
no flags.
no flags, no.
So that's a nice force. Some interesting vehicles. I'm glad James has taken those. That'll make the game add a nice dimension to the game. Hordes and hordes of tanks, loads of nasty blast weapons. So the Eldar have got to try and churn their way through this lot. It's not going to be an easy task, that's for sure. Originally we were going to go for 5,000 points, but then we decided to put it up to 6,000, and then James has got enough stuff, but we made contact with Will and he wanted to come down and play, so Will's brought down 2,000 points. So James has got 5,000 points, and then Will's got an extra force of 2,000. So he's got his own figures here, and he's going to run through his force now.
Right, so leading this army we have Commissar Warick as our first HQ. Over to our second HQ, Company Command Squad, with a Master of Ordnance, sniper rifles, plasma gun, Voxcaster and bolt pistol. And then an Aegis defence line with the quad gun upgrade. Then into troops, this is our first platoon. We have 2 flamers, a heavy flamer, a Voxcaster and a bolt pistol. And then 2 infantry squads. We've got a Voxcaster in there, a melter and a flamer. And then the heavy weapons with that squad are 3 autocannons. Second platoon, we've got in the command squad a grenade launcher and bolt pistol. And then in the 2 infantry squads, a melter gun, grenade launcher and Voxcaster. And then lastly, we've got 3 las cannons as the heavy weapons. Over to elites, 10 stormtroopers, a plasma gun and melter gun in there, and they are in a Chimera. And then heavy support, a basilisk with camo netting, a Lehman Rush demolisher with hull-mounted las cannon and plasma sponsons, and a regular Lehman Rush with a battle cannon, and both of those have camo netting as well. And then lastly, James asked if I could bring some air support, so we've got 2 Vendetta gunships.
Both Vendettas?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Uh-oh. So that's the Imperial Guard force. Huge amount of stuff. James has got a horrendous amount of tanks, loads of blast weapons, and then Will's brought in some nice key units to use. So combining the two together, it's a nice force there, nice balance, and some units that we're really looking forward to seeing perform in this game. So that's the Imperial Guard, and they'll be fighting against Eldar. So we're going to have a look now to see what the Eldar have mustered. 7,000 points of Eldar coming up. Alright, welcome to our 7,000 points Apocalypse game. It's Imperial Guard, and they are taking on the Eldar. Actually, we're going to play 5,000 points, but calculated the Eldar out, and I've actually got 7,000 points worth of stuff, so pretty much my entire Eldar collection has been fielded today. So I'm going to run through the force. It's a daunting task for the Eldar, but we would have to see what happens. There's a strong Imperial Guard army they're fighting against. So the overall commander, the Warlord, is the Avatar, and a few spare points going in fast shot and crushing blow, just a couple of upgrades for him there. Then into troops, 3 units of Guardians, 10 in each. 2 of them have got Bright Lancers and 1 unit with a scatter laser, just to bulk out the army. Unit of 6 jet bikes, and I've upgraded them to have 2 shuriken cannons. In the middle there is an Eldar Autarch with a laser lance, and he's also got a fusion gun. And coming down, 2 units of Rangers to fill out the troop slots as well. Then coming across into Wave Serpents. Now all the Eldar vehicles, the Wave Serpents and the Falcon that I have, given them some nice upgrades for this game just to try and keep them alive. We've given them these 2 here that are actually going to carry twin link scatter lasers. I've just paid the points for them. This one's got the scatter laser, the actual weapons on top, and then one here's got a twin link bright lance. And then for all of these, all 4, we've given them the shuriken cannon underneath for 10 points, and then also star engines for all of these, spirit stones, and hollow fields as well. So it's made them quite expensive. 170 points each, but it's toughened them up a little bit for this particular game. So inside the first Wave Serpent is a unit of Dire Avengers with a Exarch with a Dire Sword and Shuriken Pistol, and also given him Battle Fortune, so he's got a 4+ invuln. And exactly the same in the other unit as well, another unit of 10, and they're in the second Wave Serpent. Third Wave Serpent, a unit of 9 Howling Banshees, and there is a Howling Banshee Exarch with Executioner in there, and they are going to be accompanied by Janzar, so it'd be nice to have that Phoenix Lord in the force. In the fourth Wave Serpent is just a small unit of Scorpions, just 5, and there's a Scorpion Exarch in there carrying a Biting Blade, and you've also given him Crushing Blow upgrade. And just coming down, another unit of 7 Scorpions, they'll be outflanking. There's a Scorpion Exarch in there, Crushing Blow again, Scorpion's Claw upgrades on him. And then accompanying them will be Karandras, the Phoenix Lord, and then also a painted up in the Scorpion Star. It is an Autarch with Power Weapon and Fusion Blaster. And coming across, you've got Janzar already in, another Autarch with Power Weapon and Swooping Hawk Wings. And then the Harlequins are in, unit of 9 of those, 4 Harlequins Kisses, 2 Fusion Pistols are paid for this time, Shadow Seer and Troop Master, and they're going to be accompanied by Prince Uriel as well. So another HQ choice. Plenty of Eldar characters in this force today. And then on to a super heavy. It's a Scorpion Mark II super heavy tank with twin linked pulsars and a bright lance on top. And it's got the Eldar Titan hollow fields as well to give it a bit of protection. Nice vehicle, that one. Nice low profile and deadly firepower. Look forward to using that one. Then coming down, the fire spears are in, or the shining spears as they're called, with the Exarch and the Star Lance. We're also giving them hit and run as well as an upgrade. And then I've got a Falcon with shuriken cannon, scatter laser and pulse laser, and then all of the upgrades the same as the Wave Serpent. Inside those is 5 fire dragons with the Exarch and fire pike and fast shot, and then they're going to be accompanied by Fuigan and the burning lance, another Phoenix Lord as well. A bit of air support. The Crimson Hunter is in. It's only going to be using it for the second time, but a little bit of air cover for the Eldar this time around. Then the Wraith Knight is an obvious choice to include Sun Cannon and Scatter Shield with a Scatter Laser as well. And then all 3 Wraith Lords I'm going to field today with Ghost Glaives, Flamers and Bright Lancers. And then coming down, the new unit, just finished painting them yesterday. It's a unit of Wraith Blades. A couple more units. The Dark Reapers are in with Tempest Launcher on the Exarch there, and then a Viper. I've actually, with the spare points that I've had, given him all the upgrades at the other vehicles, so it's an expensive one but quite well protected. Shuriken Cannon underneath and Scatter Laser as well. And then the Warp Spiders are in, all of the usual upgrades, Power Blades, Fast, and Twin Link Night Spinner on him. And then finally the Eldar Revenant Titan. It's the first time it's been seen in one of our battle reports. It could dominate, or it might be blown away. We're not sure how it's going to do. Nasty firepower and quite a graceful looking model. So that's the Eldar force. Not as bulky as the Imperial Guard, not as numerous, but heavily upgraded, and a lot of characters there, a lot of talent in the army. I can put it that way. We'll see how they do. It's a clash of style versus brute force and ignorance, perhaps, in this game. So we'll see which one triumphs. None of us can call this one. It's going to be an interesting game. I'm going to move on to the scenario and deployment now for these 2 forces in this epic clash. Right, here's the scenario. Coming across in this direction, you'll see that we've split the table down diagonally. There's a central line of dice running all the way up the table to the other corner. That marks the centre of the table. On the right hand side, this is where the Eldar will be. They're the ones that are encroaching into the city here. So they're on the outside of the city here, breaking in, but they've got kind of a foothold in the city already, so it's contested already. You can see the dice running up there. So this is the direction that the Eldar will be coming on from. And then running along here is the long table edge. So Eldar reinforcements can actually come on anywhere along this table length. It just means that the game is going to be mixed up nicely. It's not going to be an end-to-end shooting match. Partly will be that, but also there's going to be a lot of close quarter stuff going on. Then coming around, there's a line of grey dice here, just running up, and that marks the boundary for the Imperial Guard. So they'll be at this end of the table. Just a nice position for some of their super heavy tanks. There's a central road here that looks up all the way through and out into the woods there. There's some nice positions here to place their forces. Some pretty good fields of view around. Will's placed his Aegis defence line running along here, so that's bolstered the Imperial Guard defence once again. But that's where the Imperial Guard will be. Their line stops just here, so they'll not reach this fire base. They'll have to move out or bring on reinforcements to get to it. So that's the scenario, and that's the positioning of the forces. And we're playing 6 objectives, and each of them has a random value. And we're going to show you where they are. We've said that just to make the scenario unique, each force is allowed to place 2 objectives inside their own deployment zone, and then 1 objective has to go out in no man's land. So for the Eldar, the first objective is just here. We've placed it in no man's land, just at the base of the bunker there. I don't know what the value of that will be. The second objective, you can see it, just the skull and the dice marking it just outside the bastion there. That's the second Eldar objective. And then the third one is just tucked in the corner of this ruin here, just upstairs. Quite a nice position. So there's a weight of objectives here, but we don't know what the values are. They could be high, they could be low. And then coming around for the Imperial Guard, James has placed an objective just in the base of the ruin here. You can see it there. It's a nice sensible position. Then coming along, Will's placed his here. This is going to be his sector to defend. He's going to take a lot of the brunt of the fighting. That's typical. James has placed him right in the front to absorb the initial blows of this Eldar force. And then Ben has placed one out in no man's land right in the middle of this abandoned crater. So those are the 6 objectives, and the game's shaping up to be quite an eventful one. What we've done is it's not all 6 objectives aren't in Imperial hands. It's an equal balance of objectives, and that means that both forces are going to have to push forwards and defend at the same time, Imperial Guard and Eldar. The Guard cannot just simply hold back. There's going to have to be attacking and then counter attacking from both sides. So it promises to be a real mix-up. So expect some nasty firepower demonstrated in this game. Units and formations not to last particularly long. And so that's the scenario. Going to move into deployment now for these 2 forces. Right, deployment for the Eldar. Just on the right hand side, the Wave Serpent, there's Dire Avengers inside there. They'll be looking up to move on to the objective just in the bunker. And then the squad of Harlequins just there with the Autarch, with the Swooping Hawk Wings, and Prince Uriel is in with them as well. So just sort of a talented squad to move up a lot of points in there. And coming around, the Revenant Titan is sitting just at the back here, just staying out of range. It's got a nice view up the table. Eldar deploying first, and they'll go first unless James can steal the initiative. Then the Falcon just in the middle here, that's got Fuigan and the Fire Dragons inside. Then coming across, it's a Wraith Knight, Wraith Lord combination. So it's the Wraith Knight with 2 Wraith Lords flanking on either side, right up to the edge of our deployment zone, looking to be aggressive early on in the game. On Wave Serpent here, that's carrying Howling Banshees. The Scorpion Mark II is just sitting behind the bunker here. Such low profile. That might be a difficult one for the Imperial Guard to weed out. And coming across, the 3rd Wraith Lord is just here, just behind the bunker. And then we've got like a defensive force set up here. There's a unit of Guardians with the Avatar, Dire Avengers, the Wave Serpent with the Wraith Blades inside. The Viper's just going to sit at the back, stay out of trouble and let off some fire. And then Guardians here, and then also unit of Guardians is taking up position inside the ruin, and then on top, unit of Dark Reapers, right where that objective is. So that's the Eldar deployment. It looks like both sides are deploying the majority of their forces on the table. We thought there'd be a lot more reserves, but in fact, both forces are looking for an early exchange of firepower. So turn 1 is going to be critical, and there's no night fighter we've rolled for it, so that there's going to be some firepower exchanged on a scale that we haven't seen before in any of our games. Who will prevail, we'll have to see. And then just in reserve for the Eldar, we've got a unit of Fire Spears coming on, and the Dragons are in the Falcon. At the back here, the Warp Spiders, they'll be deep striking. Crimson Hunter will be coming on from reserve. This Wave Serpent with the Scorpions will be flanking, as well as this unit of Karandras, and then all these guys are in the Wave Serpents, and then the Jet Bikes will be coming on from reserve as well. So we've got some tactical reserve to use just to react to the Guard. A few units that might come in handy. Warp Spiders and Scorpions might have opportunity to ambush a few of the Imperial Guard vehicles, but it's going to be interesting this game because you've got nice units and nice independent characters, but perhaps not going to last very long with the weight of firepower. Then Infiltrators, we've just put a unit of Rangers just inside the top of the bastion there, and then Rob is placing another unit just on the objective, just out. I'm going to keep them out of sight and out of trouble. So that's the Eldar deployment. Right, so Imperial Guard deployment. They believe in their big guns. Pretty much the entire Imperial Guard force has been deployed. It is a nightmare deployment. There's so much stuff crammed in. They're going to have to manoeuvre organise themselves. The weight of firepower is pointed at the Eldar line. Shadow Sword right at the back, who view all up the table and can see that Titan quite clearly. 6 Leman Russes in the street here, looking to advance through the ruins. Unit of guardsmen. And coming around, Will's put his basilisk way at the back, just taking advantage of that long range. So there'll be some artillery support coming in as the guard surge forwards. James's tank destroyer just here, inside the building. Chimera supports and James's HQ units just there. Another squad of infantry. Then the Hellhammer Super Heavy is just overlooking the board here. Nice field of fire looking through to the Guardians. So that's quite a good position. The Macarius just on his left, looking out across, and again, let's see what view he's got. Yeah, nice clear view to the Titan and through to the Wraith Knight. Then coming through, James's demolishers spread out, going into Will's line here. Then James has filled up this ruin with infantry as well, with their deadly las guns. And then Will here on the left-hand side, right at the front, with a couple of James's units just in support, demolishers there. Ogren's just anchoring on the far left-hand side, and then the Aegis defence line has been manned by Will's infantry, and then his heavy weapons squads and the quad gun just in the centre here. He's put his demolisher and Leman Russ at the back. So that's the guard force. It's crammed in here. It's a typical guard deployment, but they know that they're going to need to contest these other objectives, or at least deny them to the Eldar. So you can expect some manoeuvring from the guard. Steady wall of fire advancing forward. See what the Eldar can throw at them. Right, then reserves for the Imperial Guard. The 3 Hellhounds formation will be coming on from reserve. And then Will be outflanking with these Cascarins here. Interesting to see where they turn up. And then the 2 Vendettas will be flying on from reserve as well. So the advantage of air power is with the guard this time around, who will dominate the skies. Not an overwhelming amount, but it may prove key to see who control the air. We think the guard probably will, but we'll see what happens. Then just upstairs there, Ben has placed a unit of Rattlings overlooking the table. It's not quite how the Rattlings would usually behave, sticking themselves right at the very front, but there they are. Right in the building. They're overlooking the table, and that's the view that the Rattlings have. That's what they can see. That Eldar force facing them head on. So both forces are shying away from reserves and going to go for a head-on assault. Who will prevail? We're going to move on to the first turn of the game. Eldar will go first, unless Imperial Guard roll a 6. Right, so the deployment's there, the armies are set, both forces staring at each other. Will is going to roll. James seems to be delegating all the responsibility to Will. So Will's been deployed at the front, and now Will has to make this roll. If he gets a 6, then Guard are going first in the broad daylight. A 2. The Eldar are going to go first. Let's move on to turn 1. So Eldar going first here. That's the view of the table. It's quite epic. So coming around, this objective is worth 3 points. There's a lot of value in that one, and it's being held by the Eldar Rangers. And coming along, the objective in the middle is worth 3 points as well. So that's one that's worth taking, but it's quite a distance from the Guard. So it might be snatched by the Eldar quite early. 4 points here for the one in the bunker, and then 2 points for this one here in the building. So the Eldar are sitting on a nice lot of points, and they look set to advance as well. So pressure on the Guard. And coming around, this one here is worth 2 points, so it's got some value to it. The Guard are trying to hold that one. And then coming around, Will's objective is only worth 1 point, so they've got a decision to make whether to hold that one or advance. And the one in No Man's Land, as we've said already, is worth 3 points. So the weight is with the Eldar, and they're going to go first here. Eldar turn 1. There's been a fair bit of movement here. The Falcon's moved up a few inches just to get itself in range of some Imperial targets up ahead. The Titan was here, and he's leaped 36 inches, so aggressive move from the Eldar there. And he's actually got a view down the Imperial Guard line onto his vehicles. The Wave Serpents just sneak round to the right-hand side with the Dire Avengers, and then Uriel and the Harlequins and the Exarch are just moving along in this direction. The Rangers holding where they are. Wraith Lords moving forwards. Wraith Knights jumped 12, and then Wave Serpent with the Banshees gone 12 ahead. Wraith Lord moving forwards, and then the other Wave Serpent with the Wraith Blades has shifted over from left over to the right here, moving up. And the Scorpion Mark II, nice low profile, is actually hidden, and he's just acquiring his first target on the end of the Imperial line there. Wraith Lord just holding his position at the Imperial Guard Bastion. And the Guardians just manoeuvring themselves just a little bit, just trying to stay out of trouble. They're realising that they're not going to last very long against all that Imperial Guard firepower. And the Dark Reapers in position on top. So that's the Eldar movement. The Vipers move forwards as well in a sort of a suicide attack. But Eldar have set themselves up for some shooting. We'll see how well they do. Let's go into the shooting phase for the Eldar now. First pulsar round is coming in. Rob's placing it there to catch 2 super heavies. Here it comes, first one. Right, so the first one's missed. This is the first pulsar, so we want to get at least 1 hit in here. Less 4. He's still catching both?
Yeah, just.
He's still caught both, so the first pulsar's gone in. Right, next one coming in. We're just doing all the pulsar hits here. That's hit. Oh dear, the guard let out sighs of agony. And a bit of movement here. Still hit the Macarius. And just the Macarius, so we'll calculate that out. We might see some smoke in a minute. Right, Eldar shooting on turn 1, and it has been spectacular, that's all we can say. Coming around here, we'll just run through it in order. Just the Wave Serpent shifting around there, just with the Dire Avengers inside. And then shifting up 2 inches with this unit. Just some of it's in cover now. The Rangers just holding where they are. And then just a little bit of shooting from this one, just firing ahead, giving out a little bit of damage. Coming across the Wraith Lord moving up. 2 Wave Serpents, Banshees at the front there, Wraith Blades at the back have gone flat out, moving up with their star engines. And then we'll come back to this lot here, that's where the firing's come from. But de-weaponed fire from this tank, so low profile, with a view straight ahead. It's fired its de-weapon through, and the 2 demolishers that were there have been taken out. So the Scorpion Mark II tank performing well so far. The Wraith Lord just tucking in, just trying to keep him alive. And then just the Ogrins were hit by the Sun Cannon on the Wraith Knight, and they took some wounds and then bust morale, so they've run off the table and gone. It was a shame because James spent, he finished painting them last night. All the stuff that James has painted recently has been destroyed in turn 1, so he's an angry bear at the moment. And the Viper and combined firepower from the Rangers took out the quad gun, so eliminating some key guard units there, but the real spectacular firepower came from the Revenant Titan. It's the Titan firing up the line. You can see the smoke burning in the distance over there, so all the D-weapons fired ahead, and James's Hellhammer. Better explain what happened here. You can see the state of this. So the Macarius was first to go. You can see it here flipped upside down. It was destroyed, and then we rolled a 6, result on the catastrophic explosion. It resulted in the tank flipping over and landing on top of the Hellhammer, which had already taken 4 hull points. But then we rolled a 6 again for that result, and then a 6 again. So that destroyed the Hellhammer, and that then blew up and has pretty much removed everything from the surrounding area. Probably the most destructive round of shooting we've ever seen from any unit of Warhammer 40,000. Utterly obliterating 2 Imperial Guard super heavy points and knocking up 5 victory points in 1 salvo of fire. So the Revenant Titan worthy of respect. Imperial Guard reeling on this first turn of the game. Units have been eliminated, and the Guard's hatred for the Eldar is at an all-time high. But that's the firepower. Nothing touched at this end. The entire Emperor's Fist tank company pretty much intact, and artillery support and the Shadow Sword ready to take on the Eldar. So we'll see how the Guard react on this turn 1. They are desperate to get some firepower in and seek revenge at the devastation brought about by that Eldar Revenant Titan. So the Guard are on the move now. They've got a plan. They're still optimistic. There's good, 3 good commanders here, but it's all about lining up the exchange of firepower. That's what we've gone for, and it's paid off for the Eldar so far. So the Guard with their massed firepower, you can see a column of Lumen Russes now coming up the centre of the street. And they're advancing up towards the Eldar position. They're checking ranges. They are in range, so here it is. There's quite a formation coming up the street there, heading off towards the Eldar position. Right, Imperial Guard moving on turn 1. 1 Russ just moving around to the right-hand side, and then 5 Russes heading up the street here. It looks like it's going to be an armoured counter-thrust from the Guard. Priority 1 is to take out the Titan. If they can remove that from play, then the Guard have a chance. Shadow Sword in support at the back. Let's see what angle he's got. Yeah, nice view of the Titan. He'll be able to hit that with his D weapon. Artillery holding position at the back. Then the tank destroyer here. Nice view up the table, right at one of the ray floors. 1 Russ just tucked in there as well. And then coming along, 2 demolishers and Will's Russ holding position here as well. Will right at the very front, the first line of defence. So that's it for the Guard, just pretty much holding where they are, just surviving at the moment, and going to focus on trying to eliminate their main target, which is the Revenant Titans. That's it. We're going to go on to shooting for the Imperial Guard on turn 1. It's the Shadow Sword firing up in revenge at the Revenant Titans. The shot's coming up, and he's going to try and hit the Titan here. Right, he's electing, Rob's going to place the template here. It's going about here, we've got it lined up, and he's marking it so that it hits the Titan and clips this Wave Serpent as well. That's if he gets a direct hit. So James is going to roll up. Here comes the roll. -3. So it's moved away from the Wave Serpent, but it's still going to catch the Titan. So stage 1, he's done it. He's hit the Titan.
If I'd done it, this is what I would have rolled. So you'll go.
Alright, Rob's saying he would have rolled a 6. Right, here we go. Here's the roll for the Titan Hollow Field. Just need a simple 4-up save. Oh no, it's gone through. Oh dear. Oh, maybe Rob should have rolled that one. So James is happy. The shot's gone through. The Titan Hollow Field has failed. It's got a 4. Becomes a 5. So James has dished out 2 hull points on the Titan. It's not particularly amazing. It doesn't bode well for the Guard. 7 left to go. So firepower coming in, it's got past the Titan Hollow Field, but damage just small amount. So now they're going to switch over to the Russes. They're going to let everything off at that Titan. It's an absolute magnet of fire at the moment, but 2 hull points, we're surprised at that. So they've got potential here to survive, and if that Revenant Titan survives, who knows what it's going to do next turn. See what happens. The whole Guard line erupts to take out that Titan, and all the shots actually passing through where those rattlings are on the building.
Sorry.
All the shots whizzing past the rattlings up here. It must be a terrifying position to be there. But we'll keep going now with the shooting, see how the Imperial Guard do on this turn 1. Right, Imperial Guard shooting on turn 1. Combined firepower from the las cannon heavy weapons team, and a few other shots coming has brought down the Viper, so that's been taken out. And then the Basilisk got a direct hit on the Scorpion, but passed its hollow field save. 2 Dire Avengers were killed in the process, they've been taken off. Then coming around, the tank force fired up at the Revenant Titan. The D-weapon did get through the hollow field and has taken out 2 hull points. We were surprised at how low that result was, but it's still at 2 points of damage, but nowhere near enough. Then the Lehman Russ is firing forwards with their template weapons. They've got multiple hits, but Rob was making his saves with the hollow field and failed to do any more damage to the Titan. And then a couple of penetrating hits on the Wave Serpents, but they've been downgraded to glancing hits with the Serpent shields. So a lot of hits taken, but hardly any damage dealt out by the Guard there. So the Guard army in a really bad way at the moment. They're just bracing themselves now for Eldar turn 2 coming in. So there's still a fair amount of Guard tanks on the table. It doesn't look healthy at the moment, but they've still got some punch left in them. And we think that perhaps it would be the Imperial Guard reserves coming on that could make the difference on turn 2. They have these 2. James asked for air support, and Will has brought in the 2 Vendetta gunships, and if they come on and hunt the Titan, they could bring it down, and the game could be on again. So we'll see what happens. He's also got the outflanking Kaskrins, their potential threat to the Eldar objectives, and also the Hellhounds coming on as well. So the Guard have still got some punch in. They've been maimed, they've been hurt very bad. Imperial Guard are used to fighting against armies like the Tyranids that don't hit back so hard in shooting, but now the Eldar have dished out some nasty firepower. We'll see what the Guard can do, but they've got to first weather a storm from the Eldar as we go into turn 2 in this game. Right, Eldar movement on turn 2. It's been a fair bit of moving from the Eldar. They're sensing that the game is going well, so they've been continuing their advance. Just on the right here, the Scorpions have flanked and turned up there in the Wave Serpent at the back. It's a shame, we wanted to turn up on the other flank, but they've arrived there. And then the Wave Serpent with the Dire Avengers has moved round with a view up the table now. And then the Harlequins have taken over the bunker. They're just holding that position. They're not going to be able to, for the rest of this game, they're not going to be able to reach the Guard lines. They're going to hold that bunker and just wait for any Imperial Guard counter-attack coming on from reserve. Falcons moved up 12, just getting into firing position. Wraith Lord's moved off the barrels and has moved up 6. And then the Scorpion Mark II has shifted round a few inches and has got a view up the table towards the demolisher tank, so it's just keeping itself alive, just providing a good anchoring position there and preying upon Imperial Guard armour. Wraithlord's just moved out along with the Guardian squad, just getting the Bright Lance into position, and then the squad with the Wraith Blades inside. They're still in there, just marking it with a model. That's just moved up 12 inches into position. The Banshees have got out of Janzar, and the Wraith Knight's jumped up and over the fence and is just a few inches away from the first guardsman behind that Aegis defence line. The Titan was here and he's now jumped 36 and has landed here, now looking to prey upon the second main element of the Imperial Guard armour. So expect a deadly salvo coming in again from this nasty unit, and then the Eldar position here just being defended, just holding ground and securing those two objectives. Things are going according to plan at the moment for the Eldar, but it'll be interesting for the Imperial Guard. As we said, Imperial Guard turn 2, their reserves may make some difference, we'll have to see, but that's movement for the Eldar. Just up on this flank, the fire spears are screamed up on the left hand side, heading off towards that Lehman Russ on the far left. So we're going to move on now to Eldar shooting on turn 2. So doing the firing from the Revenant Titan, he's just there, and he's just going to let off just a little bit of a shot here. So that's first one is hit, firing the first D weapon here, and the second one's hit. And then the other one, we're just declaring all the firing.
Let's put it further back and then it might scatter that way.
Okay. Hit. Oh, that's 3 hits so far, and then
1 hit, 2 hits each.
just placing all of the shots, and the last one hits as well. So the Eldar try to reach perfection, and they have all 4 shots have hit exactly right.
If I roll that's D6. Yeah, that's gone. Bang.
It's gone. So the D weapon, we're ignoring cover, we're ignoring armour, and we're just rolling up for results here. So a 6 and a 6. Oh, 6, that's gone.
D6, that's gone.
So the front tank's gone.
That's gone, and that's gone.
Both tanks are gone. Third tank. That one's...
That's 2, 3. That's plus 2 D3 hull points. That's 4 hull points minimum.
That's gone.
Next one.
And this one. That's a 6.
D plus D3, so that's 3.
It's gone.
Next one.
And then this one has gone as well.
They all go up.
So those tanks have gone. So the 5 Russes have been destroyed by that thing. Its firepower utterly devastating. It's the most destructive I've ever seen. So we're going to remove these. Shadow Sword has been spared, and I'm not sure if the Eldar will be able to take that out. So 1 super heavy remains for the Imperial Guard. Love to see how well they do. But that armour column is no more. Horrendous firepower coming down from that Revenant Titan. So we'll do the rest of Eldar shooting now on turn 2. See how much more damage can be done. Right, Eldar shooting on turn 2. The Falcon's just shifted back a bit. It's just on patrol in this area, just in case any Imperial Guard reserves arrive. And then the Scorpion Wave Serpent's just moved up into the entrance there, and then coming down, the Wraithlord's just fired through, just trying to take out one of the demolishers. Sun Cannon fired down and took out the command squad that was here, so that's been taken out. And then the Banshees of Janzar moved up behind the building here, and actually it's a blocked line of sight, so they're protected. It's a good position for them to jump out and take on the last of the guardsmen man in the barricades here. Demolisher tanks taken 1 hull point of damage, and the other 3 tanks that were here are now gone, and a whole load of infantry have been wiped out as well. And that's firepower coming from that Scorpion Mark II firing across and destroying those tanks. Just 1 demolisher left there now. This Wave Serpent's boosted 24. That's got the Wraith Blades inside, and this one empty from the Banshees has moved up 24 as well. So Eldar starting to cut their way into the Imperial Guard position here. Very aggressive manoeuvring. And then coming through, we saw it earlier on, the Revenant Titan firing down has wiped out the Imperial Guard armoured column coming up the road as 4 hits that didn't scatter, and then multiple hull points and explosions destroying those tanks. Shadow Sword remains defiantly standing there, and they'll be looking forward to firing that at the Revenant Titan. Just moving up a bit further with the fire spears. That's it for the Eldar. Another deadly turn of firepower, just as deadly as turn 1. Imperial Guard taking an absolute hammering in this game, but we've said to the Imperial Guard that they're not out of the game yet. A couple of reasons for that. The main one being they still have those 2 flyers to come on, plus other reserve units arriving. We've said that if the Guard can take out the Titan, if they can bring this down on their turn 2, then the game is back on. They could claw their way. It doesn't look like they can. But if that's brought down, that could change the shape of the game. It could give the Guard some heart. It's on 2 hull points out of 9. They need to get some significant hits on that, on their turn 2. So that's the end. No assaults yet for the Eldar. No assaults going in. Shooting phase is finished. Eldar turn 2 is finished, and we're going to go on to Imperial Guard turn 2 now. Will the reserves arrive, and will they bring down the Revenant Titan on this turn? We shall see. So you're saying the Imperial Guard had a chance if the reserves arrived. The 2 Vendettas, that's what Will's rolled. A 2 and a 1. It's depressing for the Guard. It's not good going. You can see all these tanks here with no turrets. They're the casualties so far. But the Hellhound formation has arrived, so the Imperial Guard are going to insert that in, see what they can do. And the Cascarins have turned up as well, so we'll see what they can do. Now, we're hoping that the Imperial Guard will have a better turn as far as firepower goes. Last turn they killed that Viper, and then they also killed 1 Guardian and a Dark Reaper. Surely they've got to do better than that. We'll see what they can do on turn 2. Guard turn 2 movement. The stormtroopers have arrived on the left-hand flank and have caught out the Wave Serpent in the rear there. So that's the unit of Cascarins inside there. Then coming across, the Hellhounds have snaked their way through here. So that's pretty good manoeuvring from the Guard. It looks like they're going to make a direct assault on that position. So it's bold from the Guard. They still have some character and some courage. Demolisher's swung round. He's going to bring his guns to bear. It looks like we think everything's going to bring its guns to bear on the Revenant Titan. Will said, I used to like Eldar and now I hate them. So everyone that plays the Eldar seems to end up hating them after only a short space of time. Yes, this is why James hates the Eldar.
I hated that for 2 weeks and it gets blown up the first turn.
2 weeks of painting destroyed in half an hour. Just the Guard reacting here. The Wave Serpent moving forwards, but the Will's Guardsmen, Plasma Gun, Melters all facing off to try and bring those down. So countermeasures coming in from the Guard. The tank destroyer's just holding there, nice low profile. It stayed out of trouble at the moment, so that's got a view up to the Titan. The Shadow Swords manoeuvred into position as well. That'll be firing up at the Titan. And there's one Lehman Russ going to fire that ahead. And this Russ here is going to try and take out these jet bikes. So it's actually not too many tanks left for the Guard. But they'll do the best they can. Sadly, Will didn't get the 2 flyers on, so they're going to have to wait until turn 3. That's if there's anything left. They may just come on and just see a whole load of burning wrecks with nothing left to support. We'll see what happens. Imperial Guard shooting. A few key units going to try and take on the Titan. Right, the Shadow Sword is firing up at the Revenant Titan. We've placed the dice, it's just there. That's where the centre of the blast marker will be. So roll it up, James, with his D weapon. Here it comes. He needs to get a hit.
Feast on this baby.
That's good. Right.
Cover? No cover.
No cover, so we're straight to a hollow field. 1 4-up save will sum up
The whole
today's-
battle.
He's going to get it.
Shoots for baby.
I hate you.
So
rolled a 4.
the Shadow Sword fired at a hologram. Oh dear.
Las cannons.
Oh dear.
Las cannons.
Las cannons. Oh dear.
4s.
Fours.
Oh dear.
Double 2. Right, now the little tank destroyer that's down here, I said to James to take it. It's got a direct view to the Titan, so fire it up. 4 up.
1.
The 1. Oh no. Oh dear, it's a bad day at the office for the Imperial Guard. Have they got anything left? It's hit with the battle cannon here. A 1 and a 2. What is the problem? Demolish the tank. It's going to let off a volley. Here it comes. That's a hit.
That's a hit.
Strength 10. A 4. It's penetrated. Here we go. No cover save. We're straight to a 4. No. Straight to a 4+ hollow field. A 5. Again. It's just fired at a hologram. This hollow field is stopping everything. Right, Imperial Guard shooting on turn 2. The Eldar casualties have started to pile up a bit more, so they've done a bit better this turn. So the Shadow Sword fired and failed to do any damage. The Demolisher just there fired as well, and the little tank hunter that's in the ruins there fired. Didn't do any damage, but one hull point was given out, and that came from the autocannon just tucked in the ruin there. So it's a surprise, but it's knocked it down by 3 hull points and got a victory point for the Guard there. 2 of the fire spears or shining spears have been taken out by the infantry and the Russ just there, which is, by the way, has immobilised itself on the rubble. And then just here in revenge, the warp spiders have been wiped out. They've been taken out as well. Firepower from the Guard coming up the table, and a bit of sneaky fire coming from behind from Will's Guardsman here, brought down the Wave Serpent, and then combined infantry fire has whittled down the Wraith Blades down to 2. And they've been knocked out of that vehicle, so they're not going to be allowed to charge on Eldar turn 3, so they're sort of stuck there. and getting picked off at the moment by Imperial Guardsmen. And then coming across, the Hellhounds combined fire and destroyed the Howling Banshees and have left Janzar on 2 wounds. And then finally the Kashgrin squad firing out of the Chimera, plus the fire from the Chimera, has mobilised and given 2 hull points to the Wave Serpent. So Imperial Guard have hit back this turn, not as significant as Eldar firepower, but they've inflicted some damage. As we move on now, there's no assaults for the Guard. So we're going to move on now to Eldar turn 3. We'll see what the Eldar can do. The Titan still lives at this stage of the game. Right, so the Eldar Flyer hasn't turned up. He's, we tried to get him on, but he's staying off. Probably wise, because waiting for the Guard air power to come in. And coming across Eldar movement, it's been a fair bit. Just start down here. The Scorpion Mark II has moved out 12 and is looking down the table, might be able to get a shot off at the Shadow Sword or that tank destroyer vehicle up the table. Wraithlord's moved up and heading off towards this 4-point objective now, being accompanied by a squad of Guardians. Scouts, or the Rangers, staying where they are and just holding objectives here and here. That's actually a 3-point objective, that one in the middle. Wave Serpent's moved out and across, and the Scorpions have got out, and there's the Autarch in there with the fusion gun, and the Wraithlords, the pair of them, are moved out to assault the Hellhounds. Coming around, Dark Reaper's holding a position as well, and this empty Wave Serpent's just pulled back. It's going to use its firepower dead ahead into the ruins there, and the Revenant Titan was here and it has now leaped over 36 and he's looking down on the Shadow Sword, so just dancing around the Imperial Guard line, letting off volleys of firepower. Jet bikes have arrived, moving up, and then the Fire Spears are in the position to assault that Leman. And the Wraith Blades just holding position there. They can't assault, so they're kind of stuck. And then the Wraith Knight has leaped over the barricade and into the compound 12 inches. And then Janzar on her own now. It's going to be a 1-man or 1-woman assault on these guardsmen behind the line. And then finally, just in the corner here, multiple units reacting to the Kashgrins turning up. Wave Serpent in a position here to fire. It's mobilised. The Dire Avengers have got out, and that's in anticipation of the vehicle being destroyed. The Scorpions with Karandras have turned up behind, and then Harlequins moving out across the bunker with support coming from the Eldar Falcon. So that's movement for the Eldar. Again, quite a bit of movement, dancing about all over the place. And then we're going to let rip now with the Eldar firepower. Right, the Revenant Titan, we've seen it split its fire from one target to another, but it's going to level both pulsars at the Shadow Sword. So, so here we go.
In the middle?
Yep, do it. I'll do. First one hits. Second one. Oh. Yeah. Oh. It's still gonna hit.
4 inches, yeah.
Still hits, yeah.
Roll big to not hit.
Hit.
4 hits. Right, if you roll a
4 hits.
I'll be really happy.
So he's 4 hits in, he's just going to roll up the results.
6 plus D6. Okay, so that's 1 plus 3, 4. 1 plus 2, 3, 7. 6 plus D6, so that's 13, 18. 24 plus D6, 30 whole points.
Oh dear. So we're just going to work out. There might just be a catastrophic explosion here. We're going to see what happens. 30 hull points dealt out. Unbelievable.
So what type of explosion?
That's 545.
If he gets a 6, it's going to just...
4 plus for Titanic. Yep, Titanic. So Scouthouse.
Uh-oh. This could go somewhere.
I hope it can get back to your Titan. Oh!
Oh, 9 inches. It's probably going to land in the dead zone just there, so it's not going to damage anyone. Yeah. Right, so that's the end of the shadow sword. It flipped up and moved forwards 9 inches, so it's crashed into the other burning wrecks. So it's a nice big mess. And that's the pilot. There's they've taken the face off. There's the guy that did all the damage. The hero that has almost single-handedly obliterated the Imperial Guard force. So deadly firepower once again from this Revenant Titan that's roughly wiping out about 1,000 points every turn. Right, so Eldar shooting on turn 3 is just a little bit still going on, a bit of mopping up action, but just down at the bottom here, pulse laser, scatter laser, shuriken cannon fire wrecked the Chimera, and then pistol fire from the Scorpions, and then a devastating volley from the Fire Dragon just wiped out the Cascarins, so they're gone. There's no guardsmen in this sector anymore. And coming across, no damage on these two Hellhounds, but this one was destroyed by the Wave Serpent and fusion gun fire from the Scorpions. Chainsaw just down here, she took out 2 guardsmen with a Triskel. And then 1 whole point on this Demolisher, but it hasn't been destroyed, so it's still alive. And then coming across, utter devastation from the Revenant Titan. Shadow Sword has been completely destroyed. 30 hull points dealt out. Bit of overkill, but that's eliminated the last main Imperial Guard threat. And then the Tank Destroyer was destroyed, and that was from a shot from up the other end of the table from the Scorpion Mark II Super Heavy. So the Eldar just hunting down the last of the strong Imperial Guard units. So by turn 3, you could be looking at a wipeout in an Apocalypse game, which we thought we'd never see. The Eldar closing in for the kill. And then just 8 guardsmen have been taken out by the Sun Cannon from there. So James just removing those, just floor by floor, working our way down. Gradually taking them out. So that's Eldar shooting. There's a couple of assaults to do now on this devastating turn 3. Right, just assaults for the Eldar. 1 glancing hit down out here. Only 1 hit in the end, and it was just a glance, roll of 1. So Hellhound survives. And this one, 1 penetrating hit, but roll of 6, so it's gone. That one's been taken out. So that's a good result there. Jane's charged. Will rolled 1 dice for a melter gun snapfire hit, got a 6, got a wound, and then she failed her invuln saves. Jane's has been taken out, so Will's quite happy with that as a result. They're at least a small victory. That initial line of guard still holding their position, even though a Reef Knight's jumped over the top and they're almost isolated from the rest of their force. But they're clinging on, obeying orders and doing their duty. And then coming over here, it looks like that's the end of that. Liam Russ has been taken out. Liam Russ has been taken out by the Fire Spears. So it's a good round from the Eldar. That's the end of turn 3 for the Eldar. So Imperial Guard turn 3 coming up. Surely those flyers will arrive and make some kind of impact on the game. Turn 3 is a scheduled break, so the Eldar didn't have any units to bring back, but the Imperial Guard have elected to bring back one of their super heavies. So there is going to be another chapter to this game, and what is more, Will has rolled for the Vendettas and both of them are on. So suddenly Imperial Guard are going to be bringing on another Hellhammer plus the 2 Vendettas, so there's going to be some nasty firepower arriving for the Guard, and they can bring it on anywhere in the table that they want. So the Eldar are winning for sure, but the Guard, it looks like, are going to have another counter-attack taking place. We'll see how well they do. There is a chance that they can bring down this Titan. 6 hull points they need, they do have the firepower to do it. So we're going to go on now to Imperial Guard turn 3. Where will these reserves arrive, and how will they perform? Guard, the final once more into the breach, dear friends, as they hurl themselves at the Eldar here. Perhaps too little too late, but both of Will's flyers have turned up and they're on the hunt for Titans as they're moving in. Looks good. How effective will this firepower be? And the Hellhammer has arrived right in the bottom corner and has got a shot up at the Titan as well, so we'll be able to get a D-weapon shot in there. So the Guard have got a bit of kick behind them this turn. The two flyers moving in there, that's good. Infantry squad's moving up. And just the last bits and bobs from the infantry units. A couple of plasmas and melter guns in there. Just going to try and pick off some wounds on the Wraith Knight here. Guardsmen holding their ground. And the last Hellhound moving up into position as well. So that's all the Guard. Not much left really. But the potential here this turn, we'll see how well they do. Will the Revenant Titan survive? Right, it's quite a turn up here. James is happy. I can tell you why. The Hellhammer firing through hit the Titan, ignored cover, and you had to see a small amount of the target. It's got through, and then the ignoring cover, Rob fouled the hollow field, Rod of 3, so the shot got through. Rod of 6 on the penetration, 5 on the result, a total of 4 hull points, plus the hull points dealt out from Will with his air power support. It has destroyed the Revenant Titan. The Revenant Titan has been brought down. We didn't think we'd see it happen, but it has, and James has rolled on the result. It's a Titanic explosion, so we're going to work this out now. A shocking blow in turn 3, but the Imperial Guard have got revenge. It was a long time in coming, but the Titan has been brought down, and this sector now has been opened up. So we'll see what the results are here, but it's gone according to plan for the Guard. They've got revenge on turn 3. Right, Imperial Guard shooting on turn 3 has gone extremely well, by far their best turn. Hellhound firing ahead has taken out some of the Guardians, so it's pushed them back from taking that 3-point objective. And coming across, Guardsmen holding the line here. A couple of hits and shots coming in. 3 wounds now on the Wraith Knight, so there's only 2 wounds left. So, it looks the part, but it's over half dead now. And coming down, the last of the Wraith Blades have been taken out. I swear they're gone. So, Eldar almost entirely removed from the Imperial Guard compound. Imperial Guard have been hit hard, that's for sure. But the Eldar assault has been severely weakened. And then the story of the day, really. Imperial Guard flyers screaming in. Gave 3 hull points to the Revenant Titan. And the final killing blow coming from the Hellhammer in the corner, firing up, ignoring cover. Fouled the Jinx save, or fouled the hollow field save, and 4 more hull points, resulting in a Titanic explosion and the death of the Revenant Titan. It's been taken out, gracefully falling, collapsing into the side of the building. The pilot, perhaps he ejected in time, maybe he didn't, we'll never know. He died a hero, but that is the end of the Revenant Titan. So the Eldar have been dealt a nasty blow there. And this flank, all that's left, is just that unit of jet bikes. The last of the fire spears has been taken out as well. So Eldar unit's been picked on now by the Guard as they counter-attack. So Eldar turn 4 will be interesting. Will they be able to do anything about that air power? And will they be able to counter that Imperial Guard turn? Because it has been impressive. So we're going to move on now to Eldar turn 4. Eldar movement on turn 4. the Scorpions are starting to move through the burning wreck of the Chimera there, just moving up. Wave Serpent's mobilised, so these Dire Avengers just moving off to go around to the objective, just to add another infantry or troops choice to it. Harlequins and the characters there moving up and over onto the firebase. Falcon was here, it's moved around 12, looking to get Fugan and the Dragons into a better position to support this assault. Wraith Lords advancing, clearing a path, going to try and take on the last Hellhound there, with support coming in from that unit of Scorpions and the Exarch, or the Autarch in there as well. And then the empty Wave Serpent with the twin-linked scatter lasers just moving up, as well as one Wraith Lord and the super heavy tank as well, just searching for targets down that corridor as the second Eldar assault begins to move in. Guards still manning the barricades. Will it be enough? The Wraith Knight moving in, looking for an assault on this guard unit. Then around this side, despite the loss of the Revenant Titan, the jet bikes continue their assault, just moving up 12 inches into here. And the Crimson Hunters arrive, flying on and then turning 90 degrees just to try and take out the rear Vendetta in revenge. Coming across the Wave Serpent just here, and the Guardians, Dire Avengers, Avatar holding position, and this small squad of Guardians just advancing to try and get on that 3-point objective. So Eldar moving. There's significant casualties for the Eldar, but still enough of a force here to continue the assault despite the loss of the Revenant Titan. So we're going to move on to shooting now for the Eldar on turn 4. Right, Eldar shooting on turn 4. Mixed results really. It's been a bit of a disaster. You'll see why in a moment. Just coming around, the jet bikes have moved off, and just at the front of this big building here, just tucked around there in an assault position, which is good. Bad result from the Crimson Hunter, who was surprised. Only one hull point dealt out on the Vendetta. Will made 2 jinx saves, so that's a good result there. So the Imperial Guard air power remains, it has not been taken out. This Wave Serpent just moving up from here has moved in, and then tried to be clever with the Scorpion Mark II and take out the Demolisher, which we did, and took out a whole load of infantry, but in the process the Wraith Knight has been taken out. Then coming across, no damage done on this Hellhound, shooting from these 2 Wraith Lords and the Scorpion Exarchs. There'll be some charges there trying to get in, and then just a little bit more running. The Avengers have moved around, and then these guys have moved up a few inches as well, and the Scorpions advancing. So just consolidating position here on this quiet end of the table. Just all the action really is over here. So that's Eldar shooting done. The Falcon also moved up 24 inches, flying up, so it's brought itself into play on this part of the table, and the Guardians have taken the 3-point objective. So Guard are well and truly back in the game. Eldar been given a fright, that's for sure. We'll see how the Eldar do now on their assaults on turn 4. Right, it's just one lot of combat here. Both Wraith Lords and the Scorpions and the Autarch charging in have destroyed the Hellhound. It's quite a straightforward task there. So the furthest up the Imperial Guard are is Will's line here, still holding their position since the start of the game. Despite everything that's flown and jumped over the top of them, they've held their ground. So the Guard now severely mauled, as are, well, the Eldar losing significant casualties as well. So it's now time for a Guard counter thrust. They've got a couple of units left, a couple of tanks here, super heavy, key unit, fresh unit, undamaged, another Chimera here, fresh infantry squad. We've got the 2 flyers in position to move up the table and perhaps take on the Scorpion Mark II. And that's about it really for the Guard. Not much left, but still significant enough to be able to do something in this game. So it's not a wipeout, which we thought it would be. And Guard are fighting back and holding the Eldar to some extent at least, but we'll see what the Guard can do now. We're going to go into Imperial Guard turn 4 coming up. Right, Imperial Guard movement on turn 4. There's not much guard at that end of the table, so we're just coming round. And it's a counter move from the guard here. One Chimera just looking up the street in amongst all that burning mess. You can imagine the scene, all these burning wrecks littering the wide high street here. One Crimson Hunter flying up, but turning 90 degrees, and past it are going the 2 Vendettas straight up the main high street there and heading off towards the super heavy Eldar tank, which is now their new target. So under threat with that. It's managed to hide well for most of the game, but has now become the target of Imperial Guard air power. Then come round, advancing infantry squad here. Lone guardsman just up on the first floor. And then Will's line has decided to pull back, so they've fallen back a few inches, moving away from the Eldar threat, which is probably wise. And then that's about it for the guard. There's not much left on the table compared to what there was at the beginning of the game. So we're going to go into shooting now for the Imperial Guard. We'll see what they can do and how much damage those Vendettas can do against the super heavy. So I'm going to fire these 2 Vendettas down. It's this one first, which is on snap fire. It was hit by the Crimson Hunter. So Will's going to roll up here. 6 as he wants. No, I'm just going to re-roll them. He wants a 6. He's got one. He's got what he wanted. We're on strength 9, 10, 11. So that's a bounce. So the first one's fouled, but this one is firing at full ballistic skill. So I'm forced to hit this time. Got 1 hit. He wants at least another hit. No. So 1 hit. Will it penetrate? Yes, it has. Hollow field save of a 6. So the hollow field has come to the rescue again. The shot striking a hologram projection. So the Scorpion Mark II survives, and James lets out another sigh. The Eldar cunning is still paying off here. So we'll do the rest of the Imperial Guard shooting to see how well they can do. Right, Imperial Guard shooting on turn 4. It's been impressive again. The Chimera here fired up with all its weapons and penetrated. We've fouled the evades and has destroyed the Crimson Hunter. It's crashed and burned just down here. And a couple of glancing hits on this Wave Serpent. 2 glancing hits, so that's almost been destroyed as well. Will's Guard falling back here, abandoning the initial barricades. But no damage at all on the Scorpion Super Heavy. The Vendetta's firing down failed to do any damage, so it's survived, which is significant for the Eldar. Rattlings firing down have killed one of the guardsmen just down here. It's amazing, really. They've held their position since the beginning of the game and haven't been taken out yet. But that's it for the Guard. Not much really going on. Just a few exchanges of firepower happening, but Imperial Guard firepower has been more impressive on the last couple of turns than it was at the very beginning. So that's it for the Guard. There's no assaults. So turn 4 is over. We're going to go into turn 5 now for the Eldar. Turn 5 coming up in amongst the burning ruins of this abandoned Imperial city. Right, Eldar movement on turn 5, really sensing that the game is beginning to wind down now. Eldar units over here, just redundant really. They've done their job, they've cleared the area, and they're just holding the objectives. This sector has been taken. Imperial Guard eliminated from here as well, and this position just being held. Move the avatar around just 6 inches just to give that fearless range to the Guardians holding the objective there. And coming around, this Wave Serpent's moved out up behind. The plan is to try and bring these 2 down in a display of spectacular anti-aircraft firepower. See what we can do. Revenant Titan continues to burn there. It's a sad sight for the Eldar. Then coming around, there's no Eldar in this sector. The fighter's been brought down. The jet bikes have jumped up and over, looking to take on this squad in an ambush. And then the Scorpion Mark II has jumped up and over, well not jumped, but it's moved up and over 12 inches and has got a view up the table on to the Super Heavies. So it's the final showdown. 2 Super Heavies facing each other on this turn 5. And then the Wave Serpent here falling back, looking up to take on the Valkyries as well. And also fire support will be coming in from this Falcon. Wraith Lord's moving up. Scorpions only going 2 inches. They're at the foot here. They're after the Rattlings. But all 3 Wraith Lords moving forwards, slowly but surely, pushing their way into the Imperial Guard compound. So that's the Eldar movement on turn 5. We could go into shooting now and see if this Scorpion can destroy this Hellhammer. See if he can bring down another Super Heavy. Right, so Eldar shooting on turn 5. We're just going to fire the Scorpion Mark II Super Heavy tank up here and at James's Hellhammer. So here it comes. We'll see if we can take this one out at the end of the game here. It's the first shot. We're twin linked. Ooh, I think we're going to have to go for a re-roll perhaps. Off the table, so we're going to have to re-roll this one. Pressure on. Hit, nicely placed. And then the second shot coming in, that's still enough. Only 1 inch, so very, very accurate firepower coming in. 2 destroy hits, no cover save allowed. Automatic armor penetration. Double 6 would be nice. Okay.
2 hull points plus 2d3.
So we're just rolling up now to see how many hull points. It's 2d3.
So 3, 4, 6 hull points.
6 hull points, 2/3 dead, but not taken out. The Hellhammer lives. And if he can advance next turn, perhaps return fire, we'll see what happens. But the Hellhammer has survived. Right, Eldar shooting on turn 5. It's been not too bad going. Wave Serpent here firing up, Falcon firing up, the other Wave Serpent firing up, and the Wraith Lord firing up, and a snapshot from the Scorpion all firing up. Some hits, but a lot of jinx saves from Will here. So 2 hull points on this one, 1 hull point here, and a locked velocity. But both Vendettas still alive. We've failed to destroy them. And then coming around, the Hellhammer is still alive. It's taken 6 hull points from the Scorpion Mark II, but it has not destroyed its target. So the Hellhammer lives for the Imperial Guard. Jet bikes firing through, have taken out a whole lot of Imperial Guard. Here's only 3 guardsmen left. And then the flamer, 2 flamers here from the Wraith Lord firing up. Has killed 4 of the Rattlings, and the final Rattling at the very top floor was taken out by the Eldar Rangers on top of the Bastion here. So just the Rangers here as well, moving up on top of the bunker. They were looking to fire and take out the Rattlings, but the Rattlings have now gone. So this Wraith Lord as well decided to run. It only went just an inch. So that's Eldar shooting on turn 5 finished. Just a few assaults to attempt, and then we'll move on to Imperial Guard turn 5. So just combats there for the Eldar. The jet bikes charged in and have destroyed the last of the guardsmen. There are now no Imperial Guard. The furthest forward Imperial Guardsman is Will's last figure on the table. 1 lone guardsman, and Will really wants him to survive and to be able to take him home. I mean, just the 2 Vendettas that Will has, the 2 aircraft and 1 guardsman left. Then 1 squad left here on Russ and a Chimera with the army commander, and then the 2/3 destroyed Hellhammer. 1 squad just in the ruin, and then the Chimera at the back. Yeah, that is it for the Guard. So Imperial Guard turn 5 coming up now, and at the end of this the game could finish. So Imperial Guard turn 5, the Super Heavy's moved up a few inches up the table, still alive. The Russ has moved up, and the Chimera. So the Guard are advancing forwards along with the infantry squad here, and that is about it. Oh, and Will's lone guardsman has come out, and looks like a 1-man charge against the jet bikes. The 2 Valkyries, I don't know why, going to go out in a blaze of glory. The 2 Valkyries have turned, and again they are after the Scorpion Mark II, which is still, after all that, untouched, not a scratch on it. Yeah. So we'll do the shooting now for Imperial Guard, see how well they do, and can they do any damage, and can they take out this Super heavy. Right, James is going to fire here. Strength 10. Weapon, here it comes.
Loads.
Oh, it's scattered a few inches. That's not going to hit the Scorpion there, so that one's safe at least. And may even hit Will's Guardsman. Yeah. Will's Guardsman. 2 plus.
Terry.
3. The last of Will's infantry has gone. Will's going home. The last Guardsman has gone, and then he's got 3 6s with the Vendetta's snap fire, and then he's rolled to penetrate in 3 up, and he's got a 1-1. So Will's walked off. He's gone. That's a disastrous result there. The Valkyries have failed, and you can hear James, something else has gone wrong there. So it's the last gasp from the Guard. It doesn't sound good. So it looks like the Guard are not going to, despite all their effort, they're not going to scratch this Scorpion Mark II. So Imperial Guard shooting on turn 5. The Hellhammer firing through here. A few jet pikes have been taken out. And we saw the result earlier on. The Vendettas into hover mode have failed to even scratch the Scorpion Mark II. So Imperial Guard firepower not very significant this turn. So that's the end of turn 5. We've got to the point now, all players are in agreement that the game should end now. Looks like a pretty convincing Eldar victory. Despite the loss to the Revenant Titan, the Imperial Guard force has been utterly decimated. And if we continued on with those Vendettas in hover mode, they'd be taken out easily. And then this Scorpion would probably destroy, well, it would more than likely destroy the Hellhammer here, and it would just be a mopping up action for the Eldar. And if we'd gone on to turn 7, perhaps even a complete wipeout for the Guards. The Guard players happy to finish. It's been a vicious game, a game of superb firepower, spectacular displays from the Eldar, and a surge at the end from the Guard. They put up a stiff fight at the end. It was a surprise to everyone playing, but it's a good game. Enjoyable and a nice table to fight across. So just going to calculate victory points out now. There's quite a few victory points being collected by both sides. Right, so victory points. Neither of the Warlords was slain. The Eldar got first blood, so that's a point. And they have Linebreaker over there, so that's 2 points to the Eldar. And then for super heavies, we've done the rule that for every 3 points taken out, it equals 1 victory point. So there's 3 victory points here for the Shadow Sword, and 2 victory points for taking out the Macarius, 3 victory points for killing the Hellhammer, and then the second returning Hellhammer was dealt out 2 victory points for 6 whole points taken out as well. For the Eldar, the Scorpion Mark II wasn't touched, unscratched, but the Revenant Titan was brought down, finally brought down, and that gives the Guard 3 victory points for that. Then moving on to objective points scored. So the Imperial Guard successfully held this one, and that's worth 2 victory points for the Guard just there. Then coming along, this objective was taken by the Eldar. The Guard were driven off and held by the Autarch and his jetbike squad, so that's 1 point for the Eldar there. Then coming across into no man's land, the Guard couldn't reach it. The Eldar Guardians have claimed that objective. That's worth 3 victory points. Then here, this 2-point objective was secured by the Eldar for the entire game, so that's 2 points there. And then the 4-point objective just down here at the base of the Imperial Guard Bastion has been held by the Dire Avengers as well. There's 4 points, and then the last objective just over here on the right was secured quite early by the Eldar in the game, and that has given them 3 more victory points as well. So significant victory points for the Eldar in this game, that's for sure. Right, so the final score as we make it out was 25 points to the Eldar and 5 points to the Imperial Guard. So to say it's a convincing Eldar win would be an understatement. The Eldar have triumphed here as far as destruction is concerned and objective grabbing. So the Guard have been stung, and the victory has been won by this Eldar force. So a classic game, we all enjoyed it. Massive encounter between these two forces, spectacular displays of firepower, and a real fight to the finish. But in the end, it was the Eldar that prevailed in their first apocalypse game for this channel. So thanks for watching, and tune in next time.